Namaskar and a warm welcome to all of you again. Uh, the format which we follow in these sessions is very simple. There is a short talk on a particular topic, which is followed by mm, a meditation and question and answers. Uh, we have a Sunday inner circle group on WhatsApp for people who are interested in yoga. And sometimes I ask in that group, what would you like to listen to on the Sunday talk? And this Sunday there was a request. For this Sunday there was a request that please tell us the process of what happens from observing an object to the final stage of Samadhi. Step by step, what actually happens? So it's a pretty interesting question because it explains to you the entire mechanism of the movement of consciousness from the outer world, from an object, to the inner world, to the highest state of Samadhi. As a process, step by step, what happens? I will answer this question in two formats because both formats are complementary. They will help us in understanding tremendously, and both are different also. The first concept is the concept of Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, which is practice oriented. And the second is the concept of Samkhya theory, which has been put forward by Kapila Muni. So we will look at this movement of consciousness from an object in the outer world to a level of intense concentration of consciousness to the highest level possible inside a human being. What is that journey? What actually happens? Okay, to begin with, let me, in short, just tell you first, because there might be a few new people here with some idea about what is concentration, what is meditation, what is samadhi. So let me just give you a short brief and then we enter that subject, so it becomes more clearer. Concentration is to put our attention and bring it to one place. To bring the mind to one place is concentration. It might stay there, it might not stay there. It might keep on moving around. But our attempt to bring it to one place is concentration. Our ability to bring it to one point and not just one place, and to bring it to one image at that one point continuously without a break is meditation. It's called Dhyana. And Samadhi is the final Samadhi, which we will discuss how to reach there, is a state where the person who is meditating, the meditator, forgets who he is, what was he meditating upon, the name of that object, the description of that object, the space he is in, that is the place he is in, and the time he is in. So what effectively happens is the entire conscious mind drops off. There is no consciousness now. Consciousness of the mind, the external mind. So this state is the final state of Samadhi. Some people call it Nirvikalpa Samadhi, some people call it Nirbij Samadhi, some people call it Asampragyata Samadhi. Okay, now with this background, let us start our journey with Patanjali. Patanjali says, when you reach the first stage of Samadhi after meditation, the meditation has started. Then there is a state where you have awareness of the body. The body awareness has not gone. Though you are meditating on an object, say for instance, you are meditating on an apple. You are looking at an apple. You are thinking continuously about an apple, and the apple is there in your mind. But while the apple is there in your mind, you are also aware that you have a body. You are in the body. The body awareness hangs on with that apple. That is the initial first stage of Samadhi. In the second stage of Samadhi, you are going deeper now. So the awareness of the body gets dropped. Now you are no longer aware about the body, but you are still aware. You are still aware about the apple, the object of concentration, and you are still aware about some thoughts. The physical is gone, but the mental is still there with you. And as you go further deep into meditation, further deep into Samadhi, the third stage of Samadhi is where the thoughts also disappear. So we have lost the physical, we have lost the mental, but the apple remains. The object of concentration is still there. The apple remains. And here something very interesting happens. Just because there are no thoughts, so there are no good thoughts, there are no bad thoughts. There are no constructive thoughts, there are no non-constructive thoughts. There are no thoughts. That is a state of bliss. That is a state of ananda. That is the state of being a witness, where you are merely witnessing the apple and there are no thoughts. So here the meditator starts feeling happy. उसको अच्छा लगने लगता है, उसको एक आनंद आने लगता है. There is a sense of bliss working there for him. This is the third stage of Samadhi. In the fourth stage, when he goes further inside, still concentrating on that apple, the apple remains, but now the ananda also goes away. Now there is no sense of bliss. Because even ananda, even bliss is a thought. So the thought of bliss, the thought of ananda, the thought of happiness, that also disappears. So in the fourth stage of Samadhi, something further interesting happens. Now he is aware of two things. He is aware only about the apple, and he is aware only about himself, that he is there. That's all. So he is there and the apple are there. These two are there. This is the fourth stage of Samadhi. But all these four stages, they are called Sampragyita Samadhi. They are called Bij Samadhi, Sab-Bij Samadhi. They have a seed. What is that seed? Sanskaras are getting formed. Sanskara is a seed. In these four stages of Samadhi, sanskaras will be formed. Why are they formed? Because the conscious mind is still there. It is there with the awareness of the body. It is there with the awareness of the thoughts. It is there with the awareness of the bliss. It is there with the awareness of the ego, I am. That I amness is again there. So the conscious mind is still existing. And wherever the conscious mind will exist, it will start recording. It will record in the chitta. It will create vrittis. It will create sanskaras. These sanskaras in the chitta will eventually become vasanas and finally karmas. So action does not stop with this samadhi. Further action will happen out of these four kinds of samadhi. So they are called Sab-Bij Samadhi. Now the question is, even this conscious mind has to go. Mind has to go. It is only when the mind goes that the sanskaras stop. It is only when the sanskaras stop that the future karmas stop. It is only when the future karmas stop that you are moving towards mukti from past sanskaras. You are moving towards mukti from life and death, because sanskaras constitute life. Sanskaras create karma, which constitutes life, which constitutes jivana. So, to move from Sab-Bij to Nirbij can be difficult. It requires faith, it requires effort, it requires discipline, it requires further practice. A lot of qualities are required to be able to cross over from the mind to the no-mind stage. In the Nirbij mind, as I explained earlier, when the mind disappears, the meditator forgets himself. There is no sense of ego. There is no sense of I amness. He even forgets that he is watching an apple. The name apple disappears. He even forgets the description of that apple. That apple is a fruit. He even forgets where he is sitting, where he is. He even forgets what time of the day it is. He even forgets what is a day. He forgets everything except that the apple still remains. The apple does not go away. But nothing is known about that apple. All memories are lost about that apple. All memories are lost about the self. The mind is gone. This is Nirbij Samadhi. This is Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Now, this is the way Patanjali explains it. Because as I told you, Patanjali's aspect is a practical aspect. It is all about practicing yoga. It is all about experiencing yoga. But Sankhya is an intellectual approach. Sankhya is a Gyan Marg. Sankhya is a process based on knowledge and reasoning. And Sankhya has a beautiful logic. It is marvelous. It is something which today's class 5 child will understand. It is so beautiful. Kapila Muni and the Sankhya philosophers came forward with a model of creation. This model has 25 tattvas, 25 principles. So again, just to brief those who are not aware, in short, it's a big philosophy, a very powerful philosophy, the most powerful philosophy ever thought about in mankind. That is Sankhya. There is nothing about this. There can never be anything about this. So it says out of Prakriti, the unmanifest Prakriti which cannot be seen, certain things come out. First comes out the cosmic intelligence. Out of that cosmic intelligence, which is universal, which is the universal mind, comes the individual ego. Out of the individual ego comes the mind. Out of the individual ego comes the 5 sense organs. Out of the individual ego comes the 5 organs of action, like the hands, the legs, the tongue, etc. Out of the ego, the ahankara, comes the 5 tanmatras. 5 tanmatras are the power to experience the senses. And out of this power comes the Panch Mahabhutas, Dharti, Jal, Agni, Vayu, Akash. So in this model of creation, the Atma is also there, called the Purusha. In this model of creation, if you desire, you can put the Ishvara also there. So you have the Ishvara, the Prakriti, the Atma, you, your mind, your ego, your intellect, your sense organs, your organs of action, your tanmatras, and the entire physical creation outside. Prakriti is invisible, Atma is invisible, Ishwar is invisible, and this whole creation is visible. Both are infinite. And you are in between, you are in the driver's seat. Because whatever you think will happen. Why? Because you will be moving your consciousness from one block to the other block. If you consider each one of them to be a block in a block diagram. So when you're looking at an apple, the apple is an object outside the body. Consciousness is outside the body. And an apple is made up of those panch tattvas, Dharti, Jal, Agni, Vayu, Akash, the 5 elements. And then you pull the consciousness in. When you start pulling it in, it first counters the body, the sense organs, the organs of action, and the mind. So there the awareness of the body comes. You become aware that you have a body. When you are moving your consciousness in from the apple outside to inside, the body comes in first. And then when you further pull it inside, it has to come in through the sense organs. So whatever the sense organs have felt, realized, experienced about that apple or other fruits, those thoughts start coming. And when you further pull it inside, then you reach the mind, because the sense organs are controlled by the mind. And the mind now is free of thoughts. Because what all thoughts the sense organs had, you have crossed that stage. You have moved further inside. You have moved into the mind. So the mind has no thoughts. So the mind is happy. That is why you experience Ananda. when you are pulling your consciousness in. And when you further pull it in, it enters ego, because the mind has come from the ego. So you get a feeling of I amness. You get a feeling of the apple and only me being there. So that is how the ego plays a role. And then you pull it further in. So till now, the individual was playing a role. Ego is individual, mind is individual, sense organs are individual, and the apple is your own individual perception. So the mind is conscious here. So the recording is conscious here. So this is Sabij Samadhi. This is consciousness moving in stage by stage, but keeping the mind there. Mind is active. When you pull it further inside, from the ego, which is an individualistic thing, you move to the cosmic mind. You move to the universal mind. You move to a mind where there is no conscious mind now. Because the individual is not there. Only the universal is there. So now what you're experiencing is only your subconscious mind, which is connected to the universal mind. So now you have no sense of who you are, where you are, what you are watching, what is the name of that object, what is the knowledge about that object, what is the time, what is the place, because there is only and only cosmicness and universality there in that place, in that block, in that location of the cosmic mind, the cosmic intelligence. So you reach the highest state of Samadhi. Does it end here? No, it actually does not end here. Because this cosmic intelligence has come from Prakriti. So if you wish to go further in, you can enter Prakriti. You can enter the state of the three gunas at its core root. You can enter the Mool Prakriti. And when does that happen? When all attachment disappears. When there is 100% vairagya. It is called Dharma Megha Samadhi. Attachment is zero. When attachment is zero, the evolution of nature becomes zero. And nature rolls back into its original state of equilibrium of the three gunas. Prakriti disappears. And when Prakriti disappears, the Atma becomes free. The Purusha becomes free. The soul becomes free. And the final last stage of Kevalya, Mukti, freedom is obtained. Now you are no longer in grip of Prakriti. So you will not be born, neither will you die. All your sanskaras have buried themselves in Prakriti forever. So all track of your past sanskaras have disappeared. That is the absolute freedom which is possible. That is what this science is all about. And is it doable? Yes, it is doable.